Welcome to the Young Pros Show. We're here this afternoon with Marc Papineau, real estate agent, entrepreneur, and just all around visionary when it comes to making money and helping change the world. Marc, it's great to have you here.
Good to be here.
And Marc, why don't you tell everybody just a little bit about yourself, your background, and kind of what's led you to where you are today?
Sure. So again, Marc Papineau. I'm 32 years old, single father of two children. I basically come from a small town, Kapuskasing, Ontario. I grew up there, moved away when I was 16 years old. I decided I wanted to come to a bigger city. Wasn't really feeling the small town vibe. Not really enough entrepreneur environment for me.
Yep.
So I decided, came to Ottawa. I went to Algonquin College. I spent 2 years there taking police foundations, actually. So growing up, my idea was actually to become a police officer. I actually wanted to change the world, and I thought being a police officer would be that. Mm-hmm. And then, so I graduated from college. I did a lot of ride-alongs. I did a whole bunch of different stuff in the work with some of the different police departments, experiencing what they deal with. And then I kind of saw, you know what, in the trenches, what police officers do is very commendable. It's incredible, but you're not really going to change much of the world by doing that. So the funny thing is, I was too young to get into the force. I graduated when I was 19, right? So long story short, I got into business, started working at Good Life Fitness. I was there for 7 years, got into leadership there, assistant manager, general manager. And that's where I really got a thirst for growth. That company really had a very aggressive growth plan in their scheme, which required their people to be aggressive in their tactics, in growing yourself as an individual and growing the businesses that they have. So I did a lot of growing there. That's where I really started to learn reading books, and having mentors was actually super important, because when somebody would tell me something extremely intelligent, extremely knowledgeable, I would apply it, and I was like, wow, this actually works.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, if I open my mind to some of these people that have done better things than me, even if they're just one step ahead of you in life, wow, the impact that it has on your life, right? Mm-hmm. So then one day I was growing, and I said, you know what? What's the next step for me? Am I going to continue to grow this company and their goals? And I felt like our values weren't really in line as far as what they wanted for their future and my future. I said, you know what? I really want to take control of my own life. So I said, well, what's the next step? What's the industry I could get in that could be both lucrative and allow me to do what I want to do the way I wanted to? I did some research. I did some homework, different sales industries, because I was really good at sales. Then I got into real estate. So now 5 years into real estate, I'm in a top earning class in the city of Ottawa of 3,300 realtors. I'm definitely in the top, say, 50 to 100. So that's really done well. And I've also since opened up a chain of supplement stores in the city of Ottawa. So we've got one open, second opening soon, and soon to have 6 in the city. So
Fantastic.
That's my background a little.
Fantastic. And just so you guys know, I worked at that same company, Good Life Fitness, and it was definitely a catalyst for myself as well when it came to the personal growth and development side of stuff. And I definitely would commend that company. There was no bad experiences working for them. It was a tremendous catalyst to help change my life as well. Yeah. So Marc, going from police foundations into the fitness industry, into real estate, now back into a little bit of the fitness industry, it's kind of safe to say you didn't really, just when we used to think we knew what we were going to do, odds are we don't really know, right?
Not in the slightest.
Not in the slightest. So I guess it's important for people, would you agree, to keep an open mind to opportunity?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The biggest thing that I've experienced is open-mindedness. I mean, I think in at the source of every entrepreneur, it's an open mind from every aspect, from an ability to take feedback from people, whether that be negative or positive. The positive, you take it in a humble way, in a humble manner. If it's negative feedback, just take it for a second, because if somebody tells you something, generally it's because there's something there. There's always a percentage of truth to pretty much everything, even jokes, right? People will joke about something. There's an element of truth behind it, and it's a subtle way to tell you something. So yeah, open-mindedness is huge.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you're going through the journey of life and adapting like that, does everything have value? Like, has everything taught you something that's helped you progress to the next level?
Absolutely. Every experience, every day, the slightest of things sometimes, from somebody cuts you off on the street, you think, what a jerk. And then you go, hold on a second. What has this guy been through? Yeah. What is his day looking like where he behaves in this manner? And by keeping your mind open in that sense, and you see those people and you put yourself in their shoes, you learn something. You might not learn directly, but you say, you know what, you say something kind, and next thing you know, you see the guy and he's on his way to the hospital.
Yeah.
He's picking up his sick kid and he's pretty stressed, right? You just learned something. You're like, you know what, I need to be more compassionate to others, even though sometimes they don't necessarily deserve it or they're not behaving the way you'd like them to. Simple things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. We're so quick to make judgment when things happen to us or on other people.
Absolutely.
And it's amazing how many times we really have no clue what's going on in their life, and they could be going through something very traumatic, very negative, and it's not who they are. It's just a temporary behavior, right?
That's right.
And how we react to that is really more of a reflection on us as opposed to them.
That's right. When you're leading people, putting yourselves in their shoes, I think, is something super important, because you could have an employee that's having a real bad day and they could be fantastic, or they're slumping for a week or two and they're not producing the way you want them to for your company. Putting yourself and asking them the questions and seeing how they're doing and actually taking a caring approach, your business will grow, boy.
Yeah.
Because these people will never leave.
You mentioned personal growth.
Personal growth, yeah.
Has that always been something you've done, or that became something that happened once you were an entrepreneur, or was it always for you, always in there?
Yeah, so that actually, I'd like to say always wasn't the case. It actually started with the company, Good Life Fitness.
Yeah.
I had some really intelligent people tell me some incredible things, and then I started to get a bit of a thirst, and then one friend who's a mentor and still an incredible friend to me referred me to a book on sales. And it took my salesmanship to the next level because I applied a lot of the things. And then that's where I got a thirst for knowledge. Don't underestimate the power of a good leadership book.
Yeah.
Incredible. You just got to listen.
Absolutely. Investing time in developing yourself is probably the best investment you can ever make.
I read 2 books a month.
Yeah?
Every month.
How do you make sure you do that?
I audiobook.
Audiobook. Yeah.
Being in the industry that I'm in now, and with all the things I have going on, I mean, my days are pretty wild. So I multitask. So I'm always doing 2 things at once. So when I'm in my car, I'm audiobooking and I pay attention. And the key to audiobooking properly is you have to be in the right state of mind. So I don't say I have to audiobook every day. It's when I'm in a state of mind where I'm thirsty for knowledge and I want to grow, I turn it on right away. If I'm distracted or stressed, I don't, because then you're not listening.
Yeah.
You got to listen. But yeah, that's super important. Audiobooking is incredible.
Yeah, I do that too. It's been a real game changer for me. I love to read as well, but taking advantage of time where you're in the car or traveling or wherever that is. If I'm going for a walk somewhere, instead of just listening to music, I'll put on something where I can learn.
That's right.
So do you spend any time doing things like meditation, or I know you work out regularly.
Yep.
Do you meditate?
Absolutely, every morning.
So you take time to meditate, you take time to exercise.
Yep.
How critical has focusing on health been for your business success?
It's everything. I mean, essentially, I wake up in the morning. You start your day. I mean, a silly thing. Like the first thing I do when I wake up is I make my bed. It sounds so funny, but first of all, it's an accomplishment. First thing in the morning, it looks good. Your room is clean. It's tidy. It's organized. When you come home and you get to bed, you've got a nice made bed.
Yep.
Silly, but actually, it's a process and it's systemization, which leaders and entrepreneurs have to be. Like my closets are color coordinated. Like, it's really weird. I'm not like that. I wasn't like that before, but I've become like that.
Yep.
But anyway, so then I get in the shower. I meditate in the shower. That's what I like to do. 20, 30 minutes, clear my mind, prepare myself for the day. What are the things I need to do today? I don't sit there and just be mindless. That's part of it. Only a few minutes to clear my mind. But then I bring in the thoughts that I need to bring to set the state of mind that I need to be in for my day. If I need to be aggressive today, I'm having aggressive thoughts. If I need to be open-minded, if I'm going to have crucial conversations with my employees that need me to be there for them, then I'm going to be sympathetic and I'm having sympathetic thoughts. Your brain is a switch. You got to turn it on to the gear you need to be in. Just like a bike, you're climbing a hill, change gears.
I love what you're saying there, man. That makes perfect sense. And that's something that's very valuable. Set yourself up right from the time you open your eyeballs in the morning, right?
Know your day, set yourself up.
Good stuff. So when it comes to making business decisions for yourself to take your companies to the next level or help your employees hit the next level. What are some of the things that maybe the daily practices that you have for you, or the daily practices that you help set in stone for them in order to achieve the goals that you have written out for yourself?
Yeah. Well, I mean, first is always knowing your business, right? That's number one. So you got to sit there and evaluate, where's my business at? What's happening with my business? Where is it coming from? Where am I making money? Where am I losing money? And then you see your risks and your opportunities. You capitalize on your opportunities, and you always put your allocation of time where it's going to be most profitable. If profitability is your stamp, is your bread and butter, if that's what you're looking to do.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like, okay, where is my time going, and how is my rate of return on that time? And my entire day is planned on that. So for me, it's networking. I'm a networking machine. So every day, who am I sitting down with? Who are the players I need in my life? You are your 5 closest friends. If your 5 closest friends are incredible people, they're profitable, they're wealthy, guess what you are? That's what you become.
Yep.
So those are the people I surround myself with every day as well.
Nice. So you've got your hands in a few different things now.
Yes.
Right? So you do real estate.
Correct.
That's your primary. But then you have the Supplement King, which is something that's new into your realm.
Yeah.
How are you time managing now? Like what do you do to make sure that you have time to focus on both of your businesses and make them both successful?
I have a calendar.
Operate by a calendar.
My calendar is my life. My
Yep.
time with my family is in my calendar. My time with my friends. Everything that I do goes in there, and I make sure that there's time for my. So I say, okay, what are my tasks today that are required of me? Or this, I usually plan weekly, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So what's my next week look like? I schedule in my appointments where I need to. I'll put my Supplement King time in where I need to, in slots, and then I tackle it. So you have to do everything with purpose. You can't just have, okay, Supplement King. It's like, okay, what do I do today? Do I have to focus on my marketing? Do I have to deal with the franchise owner? Do I have to go to the bank? What things need to be done?
Mm-hmm.
And I prioritize on timelines as well. I've got a short-term, mid-term, and a long-term goal, and my tasks and weekly are broken down in that. And I usually have my more mind-required tasks earlier in the week and my more sociable tasks in the end of my week, because the beginning of your week you tend to be a lot more energized.
Yep.
And the things that require tedious attention to detail will typically be more efficiently done in the first few days of your week. And in the end of their week, people psychologically are going into personality mode. So that's where all my networking goes.
Yeah.
So that's how I break up my week.
I love it. Do you also do that with your day?
Absolutely.
Do it when you talk about your more mindful, where it needs your focus? Do those take place earlier in the morning,
Right
typically?
after breakfast.
Yeah, good stuff. I like how you're attacking that. So if you were to go back and talk to yourself, as an 18-year-old, you're 32 now, what would you say? Like, I know so many youth have the mentality that they need to know what it is they're doing, right? Their parents are like, you got to go to school, get a good education, get a good job, and that's not really the truth.
No.
Right? And people, they tend to struggle with that. Like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Do you think you need to know what you're gonna do?
No, you don't. You actually should know what you want to do. Because if you think you know what you're going to do, you're not even there yet in your life. You don't even know yourself. I mean, you don't know yourself until you're 30, personally. Yeah. I mean, I just started knowing who I am. Mm-hmm. So in your 20s, it's really about who you're surrounding yourself with, and try a whole bunch of jobs. It's funny, because when I went to the police force, I had done like 12 different jobs, and the cops were like, you're a little out there, you're not very stable. I'm like, actually, I'm very stable. It's the opposite. They were looking for somebody who's going to be there and stay there forever. And as far as me, and that's where I realized maybe the force wasn't for me, and they were actually right. They're just like not the right fit for this industry and for that field. So basically it was go out, experience a whole bunch, like people laugh. Ask me a job I've done it. I mean, I've worked in security, I've sold TVs, I've sold cars. I mean, I've done so many different jobs. I can't even name them. I worked in homeless shelters, like you name it, I've done it. But it also allows you to experience all the different walks of life. Somebody wants to tell me about somebody, I know where they've been. I've been there. I've done it.
Yeah.
And then you can understand people. So just it's growth, man. Growth. Learn as much as you can in your 20s and figure your stuff out, get yourself set up in your late 20s, and that's where you really blow up as your 30s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with you too on trying all kinds of different things.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with being exposed to as many different avenues of earning income as possible,
Yeah.
having as many different circles of friends as possible, you know,
Yeah.
just figuring out where do you really fit, where do you really
Correct.
belong, right? And going through those trials and errors and making mistakes and just keep moving forward.
Yeah.
Have you had any major failures in your life?
Oh, lots.
So is
My fair share.
that's something that people can expect to have happen, right?
If you're not failing, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're not, yeah, absolutely. I've had my fair share of failures.
Do you run towards them?
I run right at them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I dust myself off.
Attaboy.
Yeah.
And so it's like sometimes you win, sometimes you learn.
Absolutely. You grow more in your failures than you do in your wins.
Yeah.
You learn more about yourself because that's where the character comes out. When you fall down flat on your face, everybody around you wants to see you fail, and they're watching you and they're kind of judging you, and you go, I'll show you.
Yeah.
I'll show you because I just learned something.
100%.
Yeah.
So if you could impart some real wisdom on the people that are watching us today when it comes to making decisions for building a business, like finding something that aligns with who
Yeah.
you are and your spirit, your soul, what would that be for you? I guess what I'm trying to say is how did you figure out the best place to put Mark as far as an entrepreneur goes?
Yeah. Well, it comes down to, again, like doing all those different, I worked in a whole bunch of fields, and I wasn't scared to say, this isn't for me. And then eventually when I got into Good Life Fitness, it was like, okay, I got into leadership, I got into management. I was like, okay, I like this. This is good for me. And that's where you start to say, okay, what is it about it that I like? What are the components I can keep? And then you build on that. Find something you're good at, latch onto it, know yourself, and then have something that complements you in your business. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So we've discovered for yourself that you're willing to try all kinds of different things. You're open-minded. You love personal growth and development. You invest time in taking care of your health. You invest time every day. You write goals down, right?
Oh, absolutely.
You have
Always.
goals. You focus on what you need to do on a day-to-day basis by learning to manage your calendar, right?
Yeah.
And run your life that way. And that you're willing to make mistakes and keep going forward.
Yeah.
So based on what you've achieved so far in your life, where do you kind of see yourself going next?
Well, I always laugh. My friends they know, like, Mark is building an empire. So, like, I'm growing an empire. Basically, my end goal is philanthropy. And in order to be a philanthropist, well, guess what? You need to have a whole lot of money. Mm-hmm. So where that is going to be, I'm not really sure. I do know that I've got my real estate empire that I'm building. I've got my Supplement King empire that I'm building. And my eyes and ears are always open to opportunity. So if something else comes on where I can allocate time to it and grow it, and I feel like it's going to help me get to where I want to go, yeah, I mean, I look at these guys like Sir Richard Branson and Elon Musk. Like, Branson, I think, is the best because his company, Virgin, it's because that's why he calls it Virgin, is because he starts new stuff all the time. Mm-hmm. He's got a ton of companies, and that's basically how I want to live my life, same way.
Nice, me too. I think he's closed over 200 companies.
Oh, yeah.
Branson, right?
Lots.
Yeah. So last thing, Mark, we always ask our guests who they believe we should have on the show, who'd be valuable to bring on. So who do you think we need to get on the Young Pro Show?
Oh, my God. I've got my fair share. I mean, Mike Papineau would be a really good guy to get on here. He's been a mentor to me for a long time and still is to this day, even though we're friends and we're on a lot of the same playing fields. He's just such a smart guy. Great guy to know. I've got Andy and Jesse, a couple of the guys, that
Okay.
I think would be really good
Okay.
guys to meet.
All right, fantastic. Well, it's awesome to have you here. Thank you so much for coming down today. We really appreciate your time and the wisdom that you share with all of our viewers. And remember, guys, to subscribe to us on YouTube, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Instagram. And we look forward to bringing you more great content on the Young Pro Show.